We are so back. Ascended Heroes is out, and the only card in the set that even matters at all is Rotom, Move-Aside Pokepad. This card is the real winner here. Rotom from Ascended Heroes is a Psychic type with 60 HP. For 1 energy, Rotocall floods the entire board with Rotoms, and for 2 energy, we have Gadget Show, which hits for 30 damage times the number of tools we have in play. So, if you recall, Rotom EX is an EX with the ability that lets us put 2 tools on all of our Rotom in play, and the remaining Rotoms all have this Gadget Show attack. Our game plan here is very simple. We flood the board with Rotoms, we attach our tools, and we swing for big damage. Here's my deck list. Besides the new Rotom just being a very good setup tool with Rotocall, it's also a Psychic type, which means we now hit Fighting types for weakness, and we hit Dragon types for weakness with the help of Lily's Clefairy. Beyond that, this deck is the same old Rotom you know and love, with Rotom EX and our other attackers, plus a bunch of tools. Other things to note here, we are not playing Wash Rotom, we're not playing Electric type Rotom. These just don't really hit very much for weakness right now. Mo Rotom hits all the Dark types, Heat Rotom hits the Steel types and the Grass types. Those are both very good things to be hitting. I'd rather have those in play than a Wash Rotom, because realistically, there's not many good fire decks right now. Lastly, we are on 3 Rotom EX. We want 2 of these in play at any given moment, because if one gets knocked out, we would have to discard all of our extra tools. Having 2 in play ensures that multi-adapter is always live, and that's very good for us. Our remaining Pokemon are Tatsugiri, Lily's Clefairy EX, and Pheasantipity EX. Just more support Pokemon. The rest of the list here is pretty standard. 4 Iono, 4 Arven, 2 Crispin, 2 Boss's Orders, 3 Nest Ball, 2 Buddy Buddy Poffin, 1 Earthen Vessel. Our ace back here is Treasure Tracker. This card, of course, lets us search out 5 tool cards. Very good for us here. 1 Pokegear 3.0. We have 4 Brave Bengal to hit EXs for more damage. 3 Counter Game allows us to use Gadget Show more easily if we're behind on prizes. 3 Air Balloon because it's crazy. 2 EXP Share to recover from a knockout. 2 Bravery Charm for our Rotom so they don't die instantly to everything ever. 1 Lucky Helmet for draw power. 1 Lily's Pearl to put onto Clefairy because it's funny. That's the entire reason this is here. And finally, we have 2 Battle Cage, 1 Town Store, 3 Psychic, 2 Lightning, 2 Grass, and 2 Spiky Energy to close out the list. So this is very straightforward. I made a Rotom video a while ago, and this deck is basically an updated version of that. I feel like I've already covered everything, so if you want to support me, please subscribe. Otherwise, let's get into the games. Our first match is up against Toadbox. We're going first, which we don't exactly like, but it's tolerable. And this hand this would be really good going second, but it's alright going first. We'll throw down a Rotom, and our opponent leads Monkey Dory with an Absol on the bench. This is a kind of weird matchup. Obviously, Absol is basically Mo Rotom food. It's free 3 prize cards, so that's very good for us. Kangaskhan, on the other hand, has 300 HP, and we can't hit it for weakness, so that is usually a bit more of a problem. Anyhow, we'll just attach Rotom and pass. Not much else to do here. Our opponent's going to go. They're going to start off with a handheld fan onto the Absol. Sure. Then they'll go for Precious Trolley. Hate to see that. And they'll fill up their bench. There's a Kangaskhan, another Absol for some reason, and Monkey Dory and Latias. And they'll follow up with Iono here, which I suppose I don't hate, but it is what it is. Those draws are also just okay. This is a very awkward start here. No tools in hand, but we do have the Iono to try and draw into something. Our opponent's going to bring Kangaskhan into the active and then throw down Town Store, which is really good for us. So not sure exactly why they do that, but sure. They're going to run air and draw 2 more cards, and they will just pass. They whip the energy. Well, we'll take what we can get here. It's a new ranked season. I'm not in Master Ball yet, so these are the types of games you'll have to put up with. We'll start off with Arven. We prize Treasure Tracker, so we'll just get Poffin, Brave Bengal. We'll bench our Rotom EX. We'll put a Bengal onto that. We'll put a second energy onto it. We'll go for Poffin next. We'll throw down 2 Mo Rotoms. We'll Nest Ball next for our second Rotom EX. We'll Town Store for an EXP Share. We'll put it onto Mo Rotom, and although we could punch for 90, I don't really want to because they can just Monkey Dory that damage back to us. So instead I go for a Rotocall here and get another Rotom from the deck. So our opponents go now, and we'll see what they can do. I'm not too concerned here. We're already hitting for 90. All we really need are a couple more tools so we can knock out this Kangaskhan, and Toadbox is a very slow deck. It takes a few turns for them to be able to attack. So if we can take a big knockout early, that would be a very big deal for us. Anyhow, our opponent's going to Town Store for Turbo Energize. They're going to run errand for more cards. This time around, they don't whip the energy. There's a Darkness onto Kangaskhan. There's the Turbo Energize. They'll get rid of their own Town Store, and they'll simply charge up their board. Sucks to see Town Store go, but again, we have 1 more turn to ourselves before they start attacking us, so let's see what we can accomplish. Pokegear is alright, I think. The only draw supporter we play in this deck is Iono. I figure I'd rather just Iono anyway, so we'll start off with that. And those cards are kind of rough. I was really hoping to draw into a bunch of tools, but we'll just have to take what we can get here. We can still swing for 120. That's not terrible. And now we'll just pass back to the opponent. This time they put a Darkness onto the Monkey Dory. They can Adrenabrain to move damage over. Again, I really don't like that. They're setting up for taking some extra prizes. They put 30 onto the active Rotom, which is interesting to me. And then they're going to go for Iono. We'll see what we can draw here. And that is actually really good. I like that a lot. They're going to draw more cards. They're going to get a second turbo energize up, and they're going to keep charging their board up even further. I mean, sure, they accelerate energy onto the other Mega Absol. We'll accept it. Another tool is a pretty nice draw. We'll just start by throwing down all the tools we have, try to increase our damage output as much as possible. We'll put an energy onto our Rotom, and now we'll go for Iono. If we can draw into another tool or two, we are kind of set, but we'll see. Actually, we won't see because the game freezes. This is a multi-billion-dollar company, by the way. It says I can still attack, and 240 is enough to take the knockout, so I suppose I might as well do that. Finally, the Iono goes through. We get a bunch of cards, which are pretty nice, except our opponent doesn't get cards yet. Okay, now the cards appear in our opponent's hands. We already declared our attack, so we can't do anything with what we drew into, and so we just take the knockout and take 3 prize cards. It's a shame. I would have liked to play some of the tools I drew into, but honestly, this hand otherwise is a bunch of stuff that I don't mind holding on to. Our opponent's going to bring in their Mega Absol, which makes sense, I suppose. They'll put a Mist Energy onto it, and then they'll counter Catcher here. They're going to take out one of our Rotoms. Obviously, they're scared of us hitting for weakness and taking a knockout. Unfortunately for them, our other Rotom happens to have EXP share, so that energy isn't going anywhere. They can Claw of Darkness to get rid of the energy in our hands, but again, that's not a huge deal. All we need to do is draw 1 energy and we win the game. For now, we'll just bring in our Rotom that can attack, and we'll see what we can do here. And we get Arven off the top, but we're hitting for 210 already. Honestly, at this point, I'll just once again barf all my tools onto the board, and we're able to hit for 330, taking out the Absol without even worrying about weakness. So we'll take the other 3 prize cards, and there's Treasure Tracker. Well, we'll take a win. Our next match is up against Bunny Bombs, the Lopunny Dusknoir deck, and we do have to mulligan, which is awkward. In fact, I have to mulligan twice, even worse. But this new hand isn't terrible, and we are going second, so I don't hate this. Our opponent's going to get 2 extra cards. They're going to lead Baneri, and they're going to start their turn. They put a Jet onto the Baneri, and they bench Klefki. That's so awkward. It shuts off our Rotom EX abilities, meaning that we might not be able to commit as much to all the tools that we want to. In any case, we'll bench our Rotoms, we'll throw our tools down, and we'll dump our hand as much as possible if we're going for an Iono here. 6 more cards. These are also not bad at all. Still, I don't think I want to use any of them just yet. We'll go straight for the Roto Call, and we'll bench a Heat Rotom and a Rotom. So the awkward thing again about this deck is that they have big HP numbers, but it's nothing insurmountable. The only thing is we have to prevent them from destroying our board with Dusclops and Dusknoir. As long as we can do that, we should be in an okay spot. Our opponent's going to Buddy Buddy pop it, and that does get them 2 Duskull, and they can go for Nest Ball next, bringing in the Kangaskhan. They can switch to bring in the Mega Kangaskhan. They can Cypher Maniac's Code Breaking to put 2 cards on top of their deck, and then Kangaskhan's Run Errand will give them those 2 cards. That's only a little bit terrifying. They can throw down Mega Lopunny, they can throw down Latias, they'll retreat into the Lopunny, and Gale Thrust will unfortunately take our active Rotom. In response, we'll promote Rotom here, and we'll start our turn. We'll draw, and Air Balloon is decent. Well, when we look at the map here, I think we might be able to take the knockout here. We can start with Arven. We can get a hold of Treasure Tracker and Counter Gain. We can put both Counter Gain and Brave Angle onto our Rotom. We're currently hitting for 120. Air Balloon brings up to 150. We can Nest Ball here and bring in the Fez. All we need to do is draw into 1 singular tool card, and we'll have enough to take the knockout. Let's see what we can do here. Flip the Script gets us 3 more cards, and Counter Gain is exactly what we need. Perfect. Open energy onto the Rotom. We'll throw on Battle Cage to discourage those Dusknoirs, and then we'll throw out another Counter Gain. We'll go for our Treasure Tracker, and let's just get all the tools we can. I'll throw these cards down almost arbitrarily here. I just want to get tools in play to take knockouts. And once we attach everything, our Rotom is able to use Gadget Show to swing for 330, taking out that Lopunny in 1 hit. That's perfect. We'll take 3 prize cards. Those aren't terrible, but here's the issue. Our opponent can now bring in Klefki, and the moment it goes into the active spot, our Rotom EXs are disabled, meaning that we have to discard a bunch of the extra tools that we just put on. Luckily, the tools I searched out were ones that I figured we wouldn't really need too badly, so we'll discard all these cards and just pass it over to the opponent. It's their move again, and the other piece of good news here is they only had that 1 Lopunny in play, meaning that they really don't have any kind of follow-up here. They can go for Hilda to get Dusknoir and Jet energy. They'll Jet onto the Kangaskhan to put it into the active, and now they'll run Errand for 2 more cards. I assume maybe they're trying to dig for Rare Candy, but that's a little bit desperate. They're gonna bench Badoo here and retreat into the Badoo, just trying to item lock us, slow us down until they can draw into something they can use. But again, the issue here is they still don't have a Baneri in play. Like, they're not really accomplishing anything. We'll draw return, and it's an energy. That's exactly what we need. We can now attack again, and since we can attack, let's just go for boss's orders. We'll bring in that Latias. Thanks to Brave Bengal, we're swinging for exactly 210 damage, taking that knockout, and now we only have one prize card left. And that's a really big deal because it means that any Dusclops or Dusknoir they have is effectively neutralized at this point. They can't use those abilities if they're going to give us the one prize card that wins us the game. They can bring in Kangaskhan again, try to draw into something here, but at this point it's basically already over. We have the boss in hand, so they need to Iono us out of Gusting, and they need to play a Baneri and keep it alive for a turn. Just not happening. They're going to boss's orders to bring in the Heat Rotom this time. They can run Errant here, get 2 more cards. Now they'll Nest Ball for their Baneri. Heat Rotom does have a retreat cost of 2, so they're hoping they can keep it in the active for 1 turn, and with that turn they can bring Lopunny back into play and start causing some real damage. Unfortunately for them, it's just not going to work out that way. We have Townstor in hand, we might as well throw it down. Using that, we can search out an Air Balloon. Will boss's orders just bring in that Badoo? Air Balloon can go onto Rotom, we can retreat into our bench Mo Rotom, and the game is pretty easily ours. And we're back. How do we do? Pretty alright. So this new Rotom here is a very nice buff for the deck. It helps us get set up so much more easily. It also means the deck is now really a going second deck. We want to go second so we can Rotocall right away, which is also kind of beneficial because going first does also mean you're liable to Badoo, and we don't have to worry as much about that if we're going second. The issues do remain here. Even though we can hit Dragapult for weakness and we're on the battle cages, we still get owned so hard by that. Our EXs get one shot by Pult. Our new Rotom gets taken out by a Phantom Dive just on the bench. It feels bad. If this thing was 70 HP, I think that would actually be a really huge deal, but because it's not, it's a bit rough. The other major issue is that Gardevoir exists, and we can't really do anything about that. On top of that, Kangaskhan, Boufflant is also kind of hard to hit for weakness, although you could see we can manage that sometimes. In the long run, I still really like this deck. I'm looking forward to playing it post-rotation. The only issue is with rotation, it'll be a lot harder to search out Rotom EX. We can't just Nest Ball for it. I guess Rotocall is helpful there. We'll lose XP share as well, which means setting up backup attackers will be kind of hard additionally. So there's some hurdles to overcome with post-rotation Rotom, but this is something that I would at least keep on your radar. This is a deck that I think has the potential to be really good at any given moment. I don't know. I like this deck. It's cool. It's so cool. I like it a lot. And so this is a very fun deck, and I'm very excited to see how it would develop over the course of the next year. So keep my eye on this one. Thank you.